Using your voice sometimes is going to be the scariest thing you will ever do. You might need to tell your partner, enough's enough. I'm done with this marriage. I want a divorce. Or you might need to tell a friend that you've been friends with forever, I don't like your attitude anymore. You're negative all the time and you're not taking any of my advice. And also, you're just constantly oversharing. You're toxic, whatever the case may be. Bye. Maybe you got to leave a job and you got to tell that boss where to shove it, right? Or maybe there's some injustice happening right now in the world that you just keep seeing, and you go home and you tell your friends and you tell your significant other, and then finally you just realize, God, nothing's going to change unless I say something. How is it in that moment that you actually can rise and speak with courage and confidence? Because it's not easy, it's terrifying, and especially for the women listening and watching this podcast episode, depending on where you live and depending on your culture, that means different things. And so, where do we go with the energy and the frustration if we can't use our voice? So, this is a very important topic to think about, because no matter where you're born, I do want to boldly state we all at some point do not feel comfortable expressing ourselves. And that's for different reasons. It could be a very abusive relationship that we're in. It could be an abusive government that is overpowering us. It could be an abusive friendship. It could be a daunting, exhausting job we're stuck into, or some contract or some business partnership where we're getting taken advantage of. Like, it's hard, but there will come a day where you are like, I'm done being a doormat and I need to say something. So first, let's talk about leading up to that real quick. What are some of the things that you can be doing to release the tension that you're feeling while you're not feeling heard, or you just haven't been able to vocalize yourself at all? But before I get to that, I do want to let you know something really important here about your health. There's a lot of research now that talks about what's called self-silencing. And self-silencing basically means that you are not speaking up because you are afraid of the ramifications of that. And it could be that everyone wants to hear you. No one's going to, make fun of you or discipline you or anything like that, but you have this distorted view of you speaking up, or it legitimately is so that, okay, I don't want to ruffle feathers. This isn't the right crowd. I'm going to silence myself. Or self-silencing, and it's done for men and women, by the way. And it's not just a female thing. Men do it as well, but we typically self-silence because we want to put other people first. But the health impacts of that are terrible. And it ranges from intestinal issues to heartburn to laryngitis, all the way up to psychotic issues. Because if you think about it, one of the ways that we come to know that we exist in this world and we know who we are is by our voice. We hear our own voice. We say what we want. We ask for what we need. We set up boundaries. We argue with people. We laugh. We cry. Like, our voice is everything that we are. So if we are not using our voice to express who we are actually losing a part of ourselves, and we are losing our ability to understand conceptually who we are. So the health ramifications run the whole gamut, from physical issues, physical ailments, intestinal issues, heartburn, heart disease, all the way up to mental disorders. So it's really important that you start to work on sharing your ideas, sharing your voice. If you have a different opinion in the group, be the one that suggests that other opinion. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying that it's going to save your life. So forget it being easy. I want you to really think about the negative implications of you not speaking up. It's not worth it. You have to start speaking more. Now, that might look like, you're out, something really simple. You're out to eat. Okay. And let's back it up. Someone wants to know, you want to go out to lunch? Sure. Your friend asks you, where do you want to go? and you go, I don't care. How many times do you do that? I have a good friend of mine who always does that, and I give her shit for it. I'm like, Jen, I want you to start to say, where do you want to go? Because she's always like, where do you want to go? I don't care. And it's like, no, like that's a moment for you to practice. I think we should go here and just stop talking and then watch your friend is light up with the suggestion. Now you're in the restaurant and someone wants to know what you want to order. Order what you really want, right? Don't go for like, oh, what's the thing that like will match what am I? You know what I mean? You know how we do those things where we just like constantly are tinkering with what we really want to say, but in a very benign moment where what's the risk? We can start practicing vocalizing what we want in those moments too. Okay. So practice with restaurant ordering, practice with gift suggestions. If someone's like, what do you want for Christmas? And you're like, oh, whatever. Like, I want this. I want a gift massage to go get a massage, right? Or I want a gift certificate to go get a massage. Start practicing actually expressing what you want with close friends and family first, okay? Because ultimately, it's a roadmap. This is what's going to help you feel more empowered. And the more it's a skill, guys, your voice is a muscle. The more you develop and practice using that muscle and skill, the easier it's going to feel. And then when that bigger, scarier moment comes up where you got to leave your job or you want to get a divorce or you break it up with your friend, whatever that is, you will have more courage to do so. If you feel like you're in a situation where, you just can't express yourself yet, maybe it's not the time to drop the news you want a divorce because of kids or whatever. First of all, I feel for you in that moment. It's a very tough moment, okay? But please make sure that you are expressing yourself in other ways. This is where art, this is where creative assignments can come in, where you can be drawing and writing poetry or painting. I just got into crocheting. There are dance, like there are ways for you to energetically get it out of your system and expand your energy. When you expand your energy, especially with breath work and meditation, you feel bigger than the issue. A lot of the times, the reason we have such a problem with expressing ourselves or the lack thereof is because we feel smaller than the issue we want to talk about that we're not talking about. So we want to flip that script. And so I highly suggest right now that you start learning some breath work. And in fact, I have other videos on this channel to help you learn that, walk you through it. But somatic work, deep subconscious work, meditation are going to be yoga, qigong are the ways that expand your energy so that you feel expansive, bigger than the issue itself. All right. Above all, stand up for yourself as much as you can, because in the end, if you're not saying what you want and things aren't changing, you have really no one to blame but yourself. This is you taking full responsibility for who you are in the situation that you're in. If the context is dangerous or the context is unsafe, you want to make sure you're reaching out to someone who can help you with the appropriate steps to make sure that you can safely leave a dangerous situation. But use your voice to do that. Use your voice to make that call. Use your voice to show up at that restaurant, to meet someone anonymously, like whatever you need to do. Get yourself out of that situation. Those are ways to use your voice. And in the meantime, get that energy practice in so that you can start to fortify and strengthen your inner courage so that you can use your voice in very scary or sad moments where you feel very oppressed. And I want to offer you just some words of courage too. I had a really great childhood, but it wasn't all great. My parents argued a lot and, there was anxiety in the household a lot. I grew up having anxiety as a child a lot. And then later on, when I got older, I was bullied a lot, shamed in high school. And then I ended up dating individuals who were like super depressed. And that whole like, I couldn't really express who I was because it would just like overshadow that person. Plus, then later in life, being married for a while in a very suffocating marriage that was totally misaligned, and there wasn't a lot of love, there wasn't a lot of connection beyond a friendship. All of those moments of my life forced me to change who I was in every single room. Like I always was hypersensitive to who I was being, and I could never really find just myself. And so my voice was always changing. I'd go high, I'd go low, I'd be laughing, I'd be serious, depending on who I was around. And it wasn't until many years later that I actually learned how to kind of find myself again, find who I really was, and stop negotiating on that no matter who I was. But that took time. And a part of that was just getting around the right people, having the right groups of friends who want you to succeed. A lot of you are hanging out with really crappy people. It's time to level up your friend group or involved in like an organization or a club that will help raise your positivity and bolster that self-confidence because you are what they say, right? You are the accumulation of the 5 people you hang out with. So we have to start really thinking about that. Your social circle means a lot, okay? But above all, I hope my story inspires because you will find your voice. If you feel suppressed, either you're suppressing your voice or there's someone else that doesn't want to hear you, take the steps to help getting yourself out of that because the health effects of you self-silencing are really grave. You do not want to be messing around with that, okay? And it's like a silent killer, basically, right? Pun intended. But the other side of that is life gets so good. Life gets so good when you learn how to speak for yourself and speak on your behalf and stand up for other people. And if you are a coach, if you are a leader, then this is why you doubly need to be using your voice. Because, like me, I am not in a suppressed moment right now. I am completely free. I am empowered by my partner. It wasn't always like that. Like I told you, I'm in a place now where I get to use my voice. So I'm definitely going to be using it. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to be using my voice to stand up for people who cannot speak and offer encouragement and use my voice as a sign of how it can be once you take those steps to better your life, to take care of your energy, take care of your social circle, start picking up that fun hobby to get your energy expanded and doing what you need to do to make sure that you're on the right path towards freedom and happiness because you deserve it. You deserve it, guys. I'm so excited you're here again. And thanks for listening to this episode. Now, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this podcast episode, do me a favor and share your story with me below. What impacted you the most? Have you ever had a moment where you were like, I can't speak right now? Either the stress is too much, or I'm too worried about what's going to happen if I do speak up. Or were you ever in a relationship where you felt like your voice just wasn't wanted and really got into your head? Because that's the example of self silencing. And then what did you do to overcome that? I definitely want to hear your success stories below. And if you're going through anything right now, there are phone numbers that you can call. There are resources out there for you. It's just a quick Google search is going to help you guys. And if you need any help with that, I'm here for you. Just drop a note below. I'll do what I can to get you those resources. But above all, guys, I'm here for you. You got this. We need your voice in the world. And it's just one little step that you can do today. Let me know in the comments. What is that one little step you're going to be doing? If you're on this listening with your earbuds on the podcast right now, journal that when you get back to your home. What is the one step you're going to do? How are you going to start practicing to remove that self-silencing, that shadow of self-silencing, and start working your way vocally to more health? I'll see you in the next episode.